All right, we should be live and ready to go. How's it going, everybody? Hope you all had a good NFL weekend if you chose to play, and hopefully you enjoyed the show with Cliffy and Nolan on Saturday. Heard they crushed it, so I'm excited to be back. Wish there were more than two games, but this is what we have to deal with. So a couple of you asked for maybe a lengthy lineups study session on two gamers, and we're certainly going to do that. We'll get started in just a minute. Of course, we'll talk about Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports as I pull that up on my other screen here. We'll talk about the giveaways we got going on, the free week promo code, all the normal stuff. And if you guys got any questions in chat, short slate, maybe we could learn some stuff from each other about how to approach these two gamers. I think I've had decent success on two gamers. I don't know if I took one down early last season and got close a couple times on the playoff slates. Nothing changes all that much between like a two gamer and like a 3 or 4 gamer for me, but maybe we could talk over some different kinds of lineup constructions for tonight. What else do we got here? Let's see. If you want to check out the free content that we have for today, that is usually premium. Today we have Osmo's NFL Showdown rankings. Those, as it says here, those are free today. If you're playing Showdown tonight, I'm probably going to end up playing Showdown tonight. Only a 2-game NHL slate, and the games are super spaced out. So I think I'll have some time to play some Showdown. And then, I'll certainly be using these. I'll be using the projections. I'll post the link for this in the YouTube chat. Again, those are free for today. Also, let me check on this before I tell you guys something's free and it's not actually free. But let me double check on this. I've got it pulled up as the free content for today, free premium content. Yeah, so the NBA DFS projections. Those are Alex's himself, Osmo himself. Those are his projections for NBA today. So, if you get done with your NHL lineups and you're looking to play some NBA, you've got some of the best projections you could ask for right at your fingertips for free. So that's pretty cool stuff on a sport that is especially projections based. Hard to find a better deal than that. I would say that when it's free. And you guys tend to like free stuff. If you do like free stuff, promo code NHL Free Week gets you 1 free week of NHL Weekly or NHL Weekly Express. So these two packages on the left. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Osmo Plus. No excuse not to take advantage of this if you're looking to play some NHL DFS. What you're going to do is you're going to click here. You're going to go to NHL. You're going to look at NHL Express Weekly or NHL Weekly. The difference here, you'll get the Lineup Builder Lite with the Express Weekly. You will get the regular Lineup Builder, point projections, ownership projections. That should say ownership projections. We don't quite yet have a top stack tool. That is in the works. Alex is working on that. But you can also add Fantasy Cruncher to the free week. You would have to pay for that. So that doesn't actually work with the NHL Free Week coupon code, but you can always email support and try to get that added on. Again, NHL Free Week is the promo code. We don't do a lot of free trials, so a few of you guys have been asking about it, and now we have one, and this is a very limited time offer, so take advantage. You get Slack chat, you get stack rankings, points rankings, articles, Nolan Kelly's line change article that really helps us stay on top of line combos, especially for the bigger slates. He does those on slates of 4+ games, so there won't be one tonight, but for tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday, I think there's a pretty decent slate on Friday if I have that correct. But all the bigger slates, Nolan will have that out by about 3:30 Eastern time is when he shoots to get those out. All right. Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Gotta mention them. We love Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. NHL contests for tonight. They've got the 10.7% management fee, which is about 4 or 5% lower than what you're going to find on most tournaments on DraftKings and FanDuel. $200 to first. Pretty profitable tournament when you compare it to some of these other tournaments on different sites. They've got a $3 as well that looks like a pretty solid tournament. Again, 3-4% lower management fees than what you're going to see elsewhere. You might not have the flashy, huge prizes, but you're more likely to have a better ROI in this tournament if you continue to play it. NFL contests, they have their, what is this, week 9? Yeah, week 9, 250K baller, so it's kind of stabilized at the 250K. Really good tournament. Again, 10.1% management fee. Doesn't get much better than that. 25K to first. Flat payout structure, so it's not a winner-take-all. 15K to second. This is a really fun tournament if you're looking to MME. They've got, do they have CSV edit? I know they have CSV upload. Or maybe I'm getting confused, but there's something in the works with the CSV for Yahoo. Not that big of a deal in NHL because there's no big MME tournaments yet, but in NFL, very, very helpful if you are trying to mass upload your lineups. What else is going on today? The Thursday night giveaway. I'm just throwing everything at you guys right now for the few of you that are tuning in for a 2-game slate. They have CSV edit. You just have to do each contest individually. Okay, that rings a bell. Cool, nice. I'm glad you're using that. And guys, use promo code AWESOMO when you sign up for Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. To get more information on that, I will pimp out Emac's article because Emac's the best, and he does these primetime write-ups, even for the bad slates like tonight. So he grinded through a Pittsburgh at Miami game with Miami with like a 14 implied total. So go reward him for doing that kind of stuff. He does a lot of NBA content, the cash building blocks. He does a great job on those. So feel free to click on the NFL primetime article, and that is where you're going to find some information about how to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points, which is essentially cash on Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. All right. Last thing before we get into lineup study, Monday Night Football giveaway. You can win a 2019 NFL season pass of Awesemo Plus. All you have to do, once again, retweet, like, and reply with the player that scores the most fantasy points on Monday Night Football between the Dolphins and the Steelers. This gives you a reason to watch the game. Bunch of responses so far. I will copy this link and put it in YouTube chat. Again, tons of links coming your way. A lot of free stuff and chances to win a $249 value. A lot of people taking Connor, Juju Smith-Schuster, Rudolph, all the normal guys. Maybe take a Dolphin and be a little bit different. Use some game theory in a tournament like this because we usually get like a couple hundred guesses. So you're not going to be the only person taking Juju Smith-Schuster or James Conner or someone like that. But we will see. Again, Showdown Rankings free. NBA projections free today. That is surprising to me, but pretty cool thing. So if you're looking to dabble in NBA DFS, if you're an NHL player, tonight might be a pretty good night to do so. I went with James Conner. I mean, you're still giving yourself a chance, right? You still have to guess the player with the highest, the most points, right? So if you think it's going to be James Conner, guess James Conner, and then at least you give yourself a chance to win the random drawing with a bunch of other people. 5-1 Dolphins stack. There you go. Chris Baggs did a video on the Showdown slate, so go check that one out as well. That is on the YouTube channel. Check that one out after this. It's a quick hitting video. Does a really good job there. I don't know if I'd go as far as a 5-1 Dolphins stack, but we'll see. I might get there in a few lineups. That's a nice one, Nolan. Just smashed the like button and it felt great. That's good to hear. You guys should all do that. I mean, Nolan brought it up, so. All right, let's go into FC Pro's lineup study. So You guys were asking about short slate strategy in Slack. I was talking with Nolan about it. Let's do a little bit of a dive into how some pros and some really good players are handling these type of tournaments. So 2-game slates, I think they're fun because, well, not as much on this one because it's so spread out. Like there's 2 games in 6 hours, right? Like there's a 7 Eastern start and a 10 Eastern start. So it's gonna drag on, but like if you're multi-entering, the odds that you are dead after game 1, unless you just go all in and that game duds, the odds you're dead are pretty low, right? So you've got a chance until the end. I think there's a lot of really bad lineups that get put in 2-game slates. I don't know. I think correlation still matters. Obviously not as much on 2-game slates, but I think there's, in NHL DFS, I think there's always a lot of bad lineups that get put in. And maybe you might be thinking, well, Jake, your lineups are bad all the time. And that might be true. But I feel like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I look at some of these lineups on these 2-gamers and I'm just like, what's even the point, right? Like, but that obviously creates, hopefully, an advantage for us. So this is last Wednesday's slate. This is 10/23. If you guys want to follow along in FC Pro's lineup study, this was the $8. They have a similar tournament. Actually, it might be the exact same tournament, same entry, same payout structure, all that. 10K is up top. So Cheese is good. Took it down, and this was a 3-3, but not your conventional 3-3. I believe Duclair and Kachuk were on the top line. And it was Logan Brown, not Tierney, centering that top line. So one differentiation point, you do the 3-2, which is what he had here, 3-2-1. Well, actually, I guess it was a 4-3-1 technically, but if you're just talking about forwards, it was 3-2-1 with your one-off coming on the same team as the 2-man. So that was the difference, right? Tierney one-off worked out. Logan Brown didn't really perform well. You had more than enough salary to make this work. Pitt won full-line goal, swung everything on this slate, if I remember correctly. Tristan Yari, did he end up? I don't even remember if he ended up getting the win. I think it was Pitt Tampa, right? So I don't think he ended up getting the win. But anyways, you see here, he allowed one skater against his goalie. I think that's a strategy I like to look at and I like to implement on the 2-gamers. So I think tonight I'm at least going to allow one skater against my goalie, maybe 2 on a handful of lineups, depending on how I like my exposures and whatnot. But right now I ran a crunch with allowing just one skater against my goalie. So that could be a defenseman or a forward. I think that's a pretty smart strategy and a way to differentiate without giving up too much EV playing 2, 3, 4 skaters against your goalie. I mean, I assume it can work, and it has worked at points, but it's already tough enough to try to predict a bunch of guys going off, and a bunch of guys going off against a guy he's negatively correlated against is pretty difficult to imagine hitting on. Who else we got here? Brick. I can't remember. Let's see. I was looking at this earlier. Did Brick allow? Yes, Brick did. Oh, wait. No, Sergachev. I don't remember if Brick actually allowed a skater against his goalie. So let's go through this. Oh, yeah, he did. Let me make sure I'm getting this right. It was Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay. So this was NHL. I don't have that wrong, do I, guys? Yeah, okay. Wednesday, 10/23. It was Pittsburgh and the Lightning. So here we go. Vasilevsky against Letang. So he was allowing a skater against his goalie, and at least some of his lineups. Maybe this one just slipped through the cracks. But I think Brick did allow a skater against his goalie, and here too, Dylan Larkin against Anders Nilsson. Yeah, So I would imagine he at least allowed for that. On Fantasy Cruncher, if you are looking to do that, you can just go to advanced options and say allow one skater against your goalie. Let's look at what testosterone did. I think, well, I don't know. If you guys want to look at me, we can do that in a minute too. Where's testosterone on this slate? He didn't have a good night here, but I believe he ran out all 3 threes. And it's like, I think 3-3 can be a pretty good strategy here, especially if you're leaving salary on the table. But like a lot of salary on the table, I think that can be a pretty good strategy. But like when you are running 3 threes and you're getting close to, so I'm sorting by duplicates right here. This is a duplicates. Like you just have so many duplicates when you're running 3-3 and getting close to the 50K in salary. So like even here, 47,200, there's 7 duplicates. Like I don't know if that's really a great strategy to be implementing here. I could be wrong. Testosterone's been a great player for a long time, so I don't know. But like at least like these lineups here, maybe like these top 10 or so that were duped 7 to 14 times, I'm probably just trying to get away from that altogether. And like if that beats me and there's a 14-way split for first, like so be it. The odds of that happening are so low compared to, like, I just think that's a negative EV lineup, right? But let's see. So this column is important. You don't want to have a ton of dupes on any slate. It's of course easier to do that on a 2-game slate because there's less options and everyone's working within the same salary constraints. There's a lot less viable defensemen and all of that. One way to get different here is by just including allowing defensemen in your flex spot and doing 3-2-1. Tonight it's not great because there's not a lot of good defensemen I want to look at. But what do you think about allowing D in your stacks? Yeah, I think that's always a fine strategy, assuming that defenseman correlates somehow, whether at 5-on-5 or on the power play with a few guys in your forward stack. Oops. Quinn Hughes gross chalk. Yeah, for sure. Always. That guy's been chalky the last few slates. All right. Let's see. I haven't looked at my dupes here. But, yeah. See, like, these are bad lineups, I think, by me. Like, 14 and 16 dupes. This, like, I guess, you know, when you're running 3-3, I'm assuming these are 3-3 lineups, right? Brown, Johnson, Kachuk. Yeah. Hedman, Shabbat, like when you double pay up at defenseman and correlated goalie on the 2-gamers, you're just so likely to be duped a bunch of times. Like these shouldn't be lineups I had in my crunch, right? So yeah, that's kind of disappointing to see myself have that. And I try to implement ownership projections that we have on the site to make sure this doesn't happen a bunch. But, you know, they still sneak in there from time to time. So, whatever. Only 2 of my lineups were duped only 3 of my lineups were duped more than 5 times. So, that's something I can at least deal with. What was your unique lineup at the bottom? Well, I had a bunch of unique lineups at the bottom. And a lot of these were 3-2-1. I ran out a lot of 3-2-1 on 2-gamers. I'm going to do that again tonight. I'm not as worried about... So if we just sort like this, these are my unique lineups that did the best. So my top lineup was actually a unique lineup. So at least I gave myself a chance to win outright if things would have gone my way a little bit more. I just didn't have the right defenseman combos. I think I had everything else besides that in this lineup that the first place lineup had. So I think I did okay. As far as getting a unique lineup up there, and then you just hope that variance breaks your way, right? I think I was close to or I was like leading, or I had a bunch in the top 20 or something for a while on the slate, and it didn't work out. It's a 2-game slate, right? It's tough stuff. But that's just kind of a look at what some of the better players are doing. What I'm trying to do, I think there's still an edge on 2-game slates. So that's why I play it at basically normal volume. I usually do 100 lineups instead of 150 because I think I'm just more likely to have a bunch more dupes. I don't know that I'm getting a ton from playing 150 lineups outside of just making really, really suboptimal, like 50 more suboptimal lineups. Like I think I get to where I want to get to at 100 instead of 150. So I've got 100 in the $8 tonight, and that's what I'll be focusing on. I'm just waiting for the slate to start, honestly. I like this slate for a 2-gamer. I don't love what I'm seeing from ownership. We do have it out if you guys are premium members or you have FC Pro. I hope you guys can't hear my fan in the background. I'm trying to keep my mic close to me, but it is hot in here. Stupid weather, so cold, and then I have to turn my heat on, and it's got this light up here, and just it's hot. What's Eichel's ownership? All right, we'll give that away because who cares? Everyone knows he's going to be popular, so it wouldn't matter if he's 41% or 26%, right? This is DraftKings ownership. Eichel is at 34.8% ownership. That is the chalkiest skater on the slate by just a little bit. Nothing crazy there. I assume you're not surprised by that. All right, so let's see. Let's see what we got. Fading Eichel tonight? I wouldn't outright, like, the thing I like about 2-game slates too is, like, you can play everyone, essentially, if you're playing a bunch of lineups. Like, I guess the way I'm playing 100 lineups, like, I have exposure to almost everyone. So, in some form or fashion, hopefully in a unique way if I'm doing my lineups correctly. All the Jay Beagle. Yeah, I saw Nolan. Actually, real quick. Nolan almost took it down with Chicago's 4th line last night. So I think I forgot to mention Nolan's lineup the last time he had a really good night. So I'm not doing that again. Got to show Nolan some love here. Yeah, here we go. He got, that's right. The guy got first and second. You're a 1 lineup guy? You can still be profitable on a 2-game slate. Play the ownership game. Ownership projections are very, very crucial. All right, let's see what Nolan had. Chicago 4. Seth would be so proud, dude. So I guess technically, DeBrincat and Strome is not a 4th line. So Chicago 4, like, these are 2 guys that should be in the top 6. But for whatever reason, they weren't. DeBrincat was supposed to be on the top line. I got off him entirely when I saw that he wasn't on the top line anymore with Taves, and I saw he was on the 4th line. I just figured he was in the doghouse. Strome was expected to be on the 4th line, so that's why you're seeing the low ownership, but no one reacts to this. But Nolan had the right combo, so it was smart by Nolan to pop in a 4th line that was going to be, 2 of the guys were going to be essentially unowned in Strome and Carpenter, and you play, you just bet on the talent here. So we had the right combo. It worked out for him, and it almost worked out in an even bigger way. I think he was like a couple saves away from having an even bigger night. But like Sunday NHL DFS, I saw some people complaining about, different line combos you're seeing on Sundays. Like, that's amazing. I think, we love when we're getting new line combos half an hour before the game. Like that's like the best thing that could possibly happen. I don't know. Like, if you're reacting to late news and other people aren't, you have an inherent edge, right? Before the slate even starts, just by having better correlation than everyone else, or better correlation than, let's say, 90% of the field that's not checking line rushes. So that's a big part of kind of what we preach in Slack chat, and just, staying updated. We always at the channel when there's new stuff. So just kind of another reason to use the NHL Free Week promo code, or just, buy your NHL subscription at Osmo Plus. I think you guys will really like what that entails if you haven't taken the plunge into the premium waters of Osmo Plus. Cool. So, a lot of talking. We're about halfway done here. The games themselves, all right, we'll just go through it. And then if you guys got any questions, if anything pops up in your head, or anything you want me to talk about, or want me to try to figure out on screen while we've got a little bit, feel free to pop it in chat, and we'll see what we can do. This is the Osmo.com NHL Lineup Builder. Almost every time someone asks what this is, so there's the link in chat. That is the Lineup Builder. Just bookmark that, save that. If you are a premium member, you will get rankings, ownership projections, GPA, all that. That'll pop up here where it's blurred out. So you just have to be signed up. I've got the free version in front of you guys. Don't want to give away too much, but you can get this for free again with that NHL Free Week promo code for 7 days. Coyotes, Sabres, 2.7 implied total for Arizona, 2.8 for the Sabres. Darcy Kemper and Carter Hutton in net, and both pretty popular. It's not often you see two goalies right at the top that are facing each other, but this game being a full goal implied total less, I think I'm going to go update this line. I think it's up to closer to 6.5 now. So I'll update this, but it does make sense, I guess, that goalies are popular in this other game. It's expected to be a low event. For me, I think the majority of my goalie exposure is probably going to come in the other game, especially if I'm allowing a skater against my goalie or even two. I just think the volume's king. So I don't know that either of these guys is going to see a ton of volume. So that's my concern. All right. What else? So, newish lines for Arizona. Dvorak, Keller, Kessel is expected to be a thing. Stepan, Grabner, and Hinostroza is expected to be the second line. Kind of like the second line for Arizona. I like Grabner and Hinostroza. I kind of like both of those guys for what they are, just super cheap players that I guess could score. It's usually Brad Richardson in between them, and I'm a big B-Rich guy, but having a real center between them, I think, yeah, exactly, Corsi. The Grabner shorthanded goal here is going to be tilting if you don't have it. But no, I mean, that line is super cheap. I don't think it's going to be owned because you're not getting a lot of power play equity with the other two guys. But the Grabner shorty, that's always in play. He's at 5% right now, and Hinostroza might even be less. Hinostroza is about the same. Third line, Schmaltz, Hayton, Garland, not a big target of mine. So it's going to be the top two for Arizona. Right now, neither of them are huge targets of mine, but I like Stepan at 4,400 is a good value, even though he's not a high volume shooter. So I'd like to pair him with at least one of his line mates. Like I have some Stepan Hinostroza, I have some Stepan Grabner, but I like him as kind of the anchor if you're two-manning the Coyotes second line. And you could also go like Stepan Hinostroza / Grabner with, let's say, Phil Kessel, and hope that Stepan and Kessel hook up on the power play. You get something out of the Stepan line at 5-on-5, and you're not dead if they don't have a huge performance at 5-on-5. So I think there are ways to get creative with Arizona. At least I think I'm finding some. And then on the Buffalo side, I think less creative. The Eichel line, the pricing is kind of tight tonight. So the Eichel line has been playing much better at 5-on-5. Like they were atrocious for the first few games, but they kept getting there on the power play, and now they've like it's kind of annoying because everyone's been on them because they broke a couple slates with power play, like full line power play goals. And now like everyone continues to be on them. It's not a great 5-on-5 spot for them, but raw points wise, they're going to be up there even if they grade out as pretty poor values. So they're fully correlated. There's a few lines that are like that tonight. Actually, every team has a line like that tonight. Yeah. So I guess they're not even that special in that sense. There's cheaper lines that are, that are fully correlated as well. So I guess it's just an ownership game with what you're doing with Buffalo 1. Right now we have, like I mentioned, Eichel is up there as the chalkiest skater on the slate. You look at Reinhart and where is this guy? Yeah, Reinhart and Olofsson much, much lower owned. So if you're full stacking it, I actually like Olofsson a little bit better than Reinhart, but we have Reinhart being higher owned. So, middle stat line it is for Buffalo tonight. Is Middlestat even playing minutes anymore? Let's see. What did he play since they've been listed as this fourth line? Yeah, he's playing 11 minutes. Played 11 minutes last game. Like, I get it's a 2-game slate, so things can happen quickly. All of a sudden, a full line goal from a fourth line, and now you're cooking. They get power play time, I suppose. This is really the fourth line, right? Johan Larsson, Jurgensen, and Oposo. So I guess it's not even really a fourth line. But I'm probably going to pass on the middle stat line. If I get beat there, I get beat. Not like it hasn't happened before. So, yeah, Skinner has been nasty. 6,900. The problem is just his line mates. So I think, if you're looking, like if you're like projecting possible outcomes for this game, nines and zeros. This could easily be a Jeff Skinner multi-goal game, right? So you, like I was talking about with Kessel, you go Eichel with Olofsson / Reinhart with Skinner, get the power play. The Buffalo power play has been really good. Or another way to differentiate, which, on most slates wouldn't be differentiating that much, is you play Marcus Johansson with Skinner and Sabatka and stack the full line, because Sabatka is just going to be completely disregarded on this slate, and probably for good reason. Interesting. He's not that disregarded. We've got him over 10% ownership. I think it's going to be a little bit less than that, because people just don't full stack like the cheap kind of bad player. And he's not a good player, really, but he is playing with one quality goal scorer and another quality player in Johansson, I think it is, with 2 S's. Got to get my pronunciations down. So I don't even mind this third line. Obviously, Buffalo 1 is the priority. If you can make it work, I'm finding a way to make it work pretty easily with Buffalo 1. And a lot of it is tied to, a lot of 2-man stacks. I'm going to try to avoid getting a ton of Eichel one-offs. I'm scrolling through my lineups and I'm seeing a few here and there, which is fine, but like a lot of my Eichel one-offs, there's a couple, but like I've got an Eichel one-off with like a full Arizona 2 stack. So like that's fine. If Eichel scores a goal and the rest of his line kind of sucks, then Eichel's not deciding my lineup anyway there, and he's a raw point guy tonight, a volume shooter and stuff like that. So that's fine. But I'm not wild about the Eichel one-off. I want to pair him with at least one of his line mates. One of the forwards, because I don't love the defensemen for Buffalo, Ristolainen and Dahlin. They're both okay options. Getting a little bit more Ristolainen, and then even more Colin Miller than Dahlin. But my exposures for defensemen are going to be pretty spread out, besides kind of one guy, which I'm pretty nervous about. So we will see. It's not anyone in this game. Ekman Larson, Chikrin, is it Goligoski or Goligoski? I don't know. I never know, man. I've seen these guys' names for years, and I just can never remember the pronunciations. I like Chikrin for 4,300 once again. Ekman Larson is the guy that you're going to if you're doing Arizona 1 stacks, probably. But I really do. I just like the way Chikrin's played. The minutes have been pretty consistent. Almost 23 and then 24 minutes his last 2 games. He's a guy that does attempt a fair amount of shots, gets blocks, just gets the second power play time. So he usually goes a little bit overlooked. Vetrano, Mulligan, mini stack. These goalies are popular, so just be aware of what you're doing. We have them as the 2 most popular goalies on the slate. But if you're looking at 22 saves and a win, like we saw it a couple of days ago with 1-800-EDDY, where losing goalies have won slates, I should say. Anders Nilsson has done it actually a couple times. I think he just did it on that 2-gamer as well with Mr. Cheese is good. So volume is king with the new bonus. If someone hits the 35 save bonus on the slate, there's a pretty good chance, if they give up less than 3 goals or less than 4 goals, really, that you're competing with them. Whereas you need the 20 saves, 1 goal allowed, or a win, that's fine. But you need the highest raw point goalie on the slate. And I think there's a pretty good chance it comes from the Florida-Vancouver game. If we're talking about DraftKings. All right, Panthers, Canucks. Like I said, going to update this total and see if it's moved. Let me check on this right now. Has it moved up to 6.5? Let's see. It has. So I guess it's closer to like 6.4. So I would say we give Florida about 3.1. We give Vancouver about 3.2, 3.3. Montembeau against Thatcher. Demko. He is not confirmed, but Bobrovsky went yesterday. I forgot Florida played on the back-to-back, so I had Bobrovsky in there. But it's a back-to-back for them. So Sam M is going to probably be your goalie for the Panthers tonight. What's his price tag at? I'm pretty sure I've got the wrong name in there. Samuel, depending on your site. He is at 6,900. Very nice price there. And then Demko, 7,800. Pretty good price as well for a home favorite. This game's a little tricky. This is the game I'm going to have more exposure to. Shocking. There's more goals. But like I said, even on the goalie side, I'm going to be pretty heavily invested on, especially this guy right here, because I think he's set to face a lot of volume. Like I said, volume is king. We'll keep repeating that. I'm not trying to go out of my way to correlate goalie tonight, but I do like Florida anyways. So if it happens with Sammy M, then I will be perfectly fine with that. Florida won. I was a little upset that they're going to be so popular, but they're too cheap. They're a good line at 5-5. They are fully correlated. Vancouver's taking a lot of penalties, 3.6 times shorthanded per game over their first 10. That is pretty high. And yeah, they've had a good kill so far, but I'll take the extra opportunities at 5-on-4, and I just hope I cash in and run into some good variance there for me with this pretty talented Florida top line. The Sutter line, very likely going to see a fair amount of time against Barkov, Huberdeau, and Dadonov. That doesn't worry me all that much. I don't think that's going to be a bad line. Sutter does a pretty good job of muddying the waters. And I think you might even be okay mixing in some Vancouver 3 just because they're probably going to see some increased ice time with Florida 1 just playing a lot of minutes. So if they make it a point to put them on them, might be a decent contrarian play if you're looking to play an expensive Buffalo 1 or something like that as a second stack, or you go Sutter Levo or, whatever. But game stack, I mean, it's a 2-game slate, so sure, you could definitely game stack this. I'm going to have game stacks of both sides because I'm going to have a bunch of different type of builds. Horvat, Pearson, Virtanen, kind of been playing up-tempo on both sides. Elias Pettersson, Besser, and JT Miller. Not sure that there's a matchup they can't really overcome. So you put them at around 19K on DraftKings. It's a really good spot when you factor in the back-to-back and the backup goalie in net. So can you fit Florida 1 with Vancouver 2? Yeah, I'm guessing you can. Let's see. You could probably make it work. Not really, actually. Can you? I mean, no, you really can't. Oh, I actually do like John Gilmore at 2,800. I just like him as a player. I suppose you could make it work. There you go. But, yeah, not very easy. Got to take gambles on depth lines. Yeah. Vancouver 3 is not a bad one. Better than some of these other third lines, I think. So JT Miller, Pettersson, and Besser, they're going to be up there as the most popular line. Makes perfect sense to me. In fact, they might be the most popular line as a whole. If you just go by average of the three forwards, they're going to be right up there with Florida 1. I don't disagree with it at all. I think they're both good chalk. My slight preference is Florida 1. What else do we got here? Horvat, a great one-off at 6,300. He's a little bit priced up, so he's not just going to be a value guy that everybody jams in. But if you're power play stacking, that's certainly a guy to look at for Vancouver Vancouver PP1 with Quinn Hughes. If you're looking to 5-man stack that, I don't really love the stack with Virtanen and Pearson all that much. Lack of correlation, but there still is a lack of power play correlation, I should say. There still is 5-on-5 correlation, and that definitely still matters on a 2-gamer. Let's see where Virtanen's at. Man, Virtanen's still getting some steam. Like, so is Pearson. So, like, if everyone's going to be in the teens on that line, not my favorite, even though I recognize Horvat's almost always a fine play, especially on shorter slates. Yeah, Corsi, I agree. Van 3, baby. Corsi's playing some Van 3 tonight. Oh, wait, are you? No way. Oh, that's sick. Maybe Corsi is playing some Van 3. All right, what else do we have here? Quinn Hughes going to be popular. I think for good reason. I'm sorry. Quinn Hughes is not going to be that popular. He's pretty low owned right now. I think he's going to bump way up by the time we get closer to lock. If Alex does another run of ownership. $4,400 here on the top power play in a pretty good spot for Vancouver. So he's got to be up there. Tyler Myers, also a good value, skating with Edler. Those guys are going to play a lot of minutes here. They're going to play against Barkov, Huberdeau, Dadonov, and like Corsi said in the chat, they're going to play a lot with Vancouver 3 on the power play. So not a bad play if you're looking to go some combo of these guys with one of Edler and or Myers. The rest of these guys don't matter all that much to me. Getting an absurd amount of Keith Yandel the way I'm building tonight, it doesn't feel good at all. And maybe I need to allow more defensemen into my flex spot or maybe less guys on the power play. But he's 5K. I guess the third pairing thing is scaring me off. Like, he's had games recently with 14, 15, and 16 minutes. Like, you really want to pay a 5K for that? I don't, but is he going to be there, or is he going to be at 22, 23, and 18 minutes? So I have no idea. His minutes have jumped around a bunch. Yeah. Yandle's only good game was when he was 3,400. Oh, that's just classic. So I'm going to come down on Yandle a little bit. He's an okay correlation play. Or if you think that, like I mentioned, Vancouver has been taking a lot of penalties. It's still a pretty short sample. But if they continue to do that, and they're taking 3-4, there's three or four power plays for Florida, you're probably going to be okay with the opportunities that Yandle gets. Ekblad at 4,600, going to be a pretty good low-owned option. I prefer him over like the Uyghurs and Pissick and Strawman. Just kind of a lot of gross defensemen in this game. You just kind of, which guys you're playing, right? You're playing Edler, Myers, Hughes. You're playing Ekblad and or Yandle. Like I mentioned, one of the punt guys I like is Gilmore. Chikrin, one of my mid-tier guys, but Myers is probably going to be a little bit more popular, and Hughes as well. All right. What else do we got here? If anybody else has anything for me, feel free. I'm going to recap. Uyghur totally seems like a Jake guy. I don't know. Maybe that's a compliment. I'm not a big Uyghur guy. So to recap, we have Osmo's Showdown rankings. Those are free today. We'll pop those in. Take advantage of that if you're playing Showdown. There's really no reason not to. NBA DFS Projections. Those are free today, which is kind of crazy on a big slate. So take advantage of that if you're playing NBA, or even if you're not. Make a lineup with these projections. You're not going to find any better, especially not for free. NHL Free Week is the promo code for a free week of NHL Weekly or NHL Express Weekly. You can cancel after the free week if you want, but you will be billed automatically if you don't. So just be aware of that. We're not going to try to sell you something that you don't want, but I think you guys will like it if you come try us out. And with that, you get rankings, projections, now ownership for DraftKings, the lineup builder. We've got a top stack tool in the mix, premium articles, line change article, as well as all of the free stuff. What else do we have? Emax primetime article. If you want more information about Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports and how to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points, that is the article you're going to want to click on, because there's a lot of good information in about the third paragraph of that article. Let's see. Oh, and then the giveaway, of course. Thursday Night Football. It is not Thursday. It is Monday. Monday Night Football giveaway. Right here. You know what to do with that tweet. You guys have heard me say it every single NHL show, it feels like. But this Monday Night Football giveaway, it'll give you a reason to watch this game. If you're not playing Showdown, you can win a $249 value Osmo Plus NFL Season Pass. Just got to guess the player that scores the most fantasy points. Use some game theory. Maybe take a Dolphin. I don't even know who you would take. Don't ask me. I can barely name one player on the Dolphins. But a pretty good promo nonetheless. So a lot of free stuff we're giving away. Looks like no one else has questions. Nolan and I will be back tomorrow. I think it's a pretty good slate. Dolphins DST, yeah. I think we've got, 9 games tomorrow? What do we got? 9 games tomorrow. Looks like it will be fun. I think it's a live final qualifier night on DraftKings. Yahoo will have some good tournaments, I am sure. And this will be pretty fun. So do all the free stuff. Take advantage. Try to win a pass. Take advantage of the NHL free week promo code. It is very limited time offer. And I actually do mean that. That expires like early November. So no reason to really not take advantage. Get in Slack chat when you do. And I will see you guys tomorrow back with Nolan. And good luck tonight.